California wants to be the first U.S. state to pay people to stay sober. Dog, maybe pay people to clean up Venice Beach, bro, but whatever. Or maybe sort out the Bumble situation in San Francisco, or clean up the needles off the street in LA, or just literally anything but this, but okay. I went to True story. I went to Los Angeles a few months ago to do a podcast, and it smelled like warm urine. No offense to people in Los Angeles, I'm just saying it smelled like urine. Not everywhere, but in a lot of places, just saying. I was walking down the street in downtown Los Angeles in the middle of the day when a car pulled over to the side of the road. A gentleman jumped out of the driver's seat and literally peed in a bush on the side of the road in the middle of the city in broad daylight. I mean, okay. And I was like, the urine smell. I'm sure this is one of Governor Gaslight, Gavin Mussolini, aka the heavily lacquered sun god of San Francisco's many wonderful ideas. It's no surprise this guy is about to get recalled, but whatever. Maybe tackle a little bit higher priority problems, guy. I'm not saying that drug addiction is not a high priority problem. I'm just saying this ain't it, dog. According to NPR, the federal government has been doing this for years with military veterans, and supposedly it is one of the most effective ways to stop people from using drugs like cocaine, methamphetamine, and stimulants. It's funny because they interviewed a guy that did this program that it worked on, and he says, I thought I could do 12 weeks, and when I'm done, I'll have $330 to get high with. So basically, you join the program and then you get paid an increasing amount of money every consecutive week that you have a negative drug test result for 12 weeks. Now, this guy successfully made it through this program and has not done any meth for 11 years, but he even says with his own words, he goes, the money really didn't matter much. Yeah. Now, their argument for this program is that if for 1,000 people, it would only cost as much as $286,000, which is not that much from an operating budget of $262 billion. But it's also only 1,000 people. There are nearly 40 million people in California, and there's an overdose rate of 15 per 100,000 people per year. Overdose deaths increased in almost every state in America in the first 8 months of 2020. I wonder why. Even the California Health Benefits Review Program, which analyzed this study, says, while the research suggests that it is effective in keeping people sober during the program, the effect doesn't last beyond 6 months after the treatment concludes. This is yet another example of a virtue signaling, garbage organized trash government structure not being able to solve an actual problem by only addressing the end result as opposed to the root cause. I'm all for less people overdosing. We all want that. But paying them cash to have it effective for 12 weeks and then 6 months later having all of them fall right back into it, this is a waste of money and time, and it's trash. But whatever. The government in every state and in America is drunk on power and bloated with a bunch of do-nothing programs that are ineffective. They just use this to virtue signal to their bank. To their base. Look what I did. Look, I'm for this, I'm for that. And it ends up being really ineffective, doing nothing and wasting good taxpayer dollars. Meanwhile, there's tent cities on Venice Beach. There's garbage in the streets. There's businesses that are actually working and generating revenue and jobs for people, and no one's spending any money to take care of them. So you're gonna blow, well, it's only $286,000. Yo, put that into something else, bro. Because in business and in life, what is always the most important is figuring out how to prioritize for the greatest effect, the greatest execution, what will change the most lives, what will cause the most things to happen positively. Prioritization. The egregious lockdown orders, the financial strain on businesses and families, the making it difficult for businesses to hire decent workers, the fear-mongering every single person in existence to being afraid to walk outside and breathe air, caused way more overdose deaths than anything else. All of their other problems, all of their other situations and solutions are causing all these problems in the first place. They're the cause, and then they're here trying to fix 0.001% of the results. Meanwhile, you have a mainstream media structure and television structure and advertising structure that's financed primarily on the backs of large pharmaceutical companies who are largely responsible for creating all of the pills that all of these people overdose and die from. From 2006 to 2012, America's largest drug companies saturated the country with 76 billion oxycodone and hydrocodone pain pills. We're talking hundreds of thousands of deaths. The United States of America only makes up 4% of the Earth's total population, yet Americans consume 86% of the entire world's opioids. From 2006 to 2012, just 6 companies distributed 75% of all the opioids. You may have heard of Walgreens, CVS, and Walmart, 3 of those 6 companies. So you have this massive opioid crisis where people are overdosing and dying and consuming the majority of the world's pharmaceuticals. You have the mainstream media outlets and all of the news organizations financed and supported by advertising dollars that come from these exact same pharmaceutical companies. You have these pharmaceutical companies clocking in record profits and being some of the only essential businesses that got to stay online and stay open through all of this global shutdown, lockdown. Meanwhile, they shut down the ability for people to go to treatment programs and literally increased all of these bad numbers just based on their actions alone. This is just one of many instances of collateral damage that negatively affect everyday American citizens and literally everyone in the world as a result of these egregious lockdowns. All they measure is cases and deaths, but all these other unmeasured things is the toll of human suffering that's happening around the world. You can't just measure it in cases and deaths for one specific thing while everybody's yelling at each other and angry and fighting with each other over diapers and kids and all this. Meanwhile, these companies are clocking in bank rolls, making billions of dollars, and everyone is suffering as a result, except for them. Then we go and take these exact same companies that have clocked in record profits as a result of this year, record human suffering happening as a result of the lockdowns. Then they're distributing all of this fear-mongering information through the mainstream media companies which they finance, getting everybody scared, keeping them alone, depressed. Everybody is sad, everybody's having mental health issues, and nobody's addressing the real cause of all these problems. They're just like, yeah, let's pay off 1,000 people in California. You're out of your mind. Then you're gonna go and finance those exact same companies to the tune of tens of billions of dollars, create and mint billionaires in just 1 year, create record profits, stocks that are soaring off the charts, and then you're gonna trust these companies, oh, here's some juice, here's a booster, it's effective, and actually it's not effective, and they keep changing and moving the goalposts, and everybody's just towing this line. Meanwhile, all this horrible human suffering is happening all around the world, and all everybody can think to do is be mad at each other instead of the real cause of these problems. And then these exact same companies have paid out some of the largest fines in U.S. history for forcing doctors to lie, incentivizing doctors to lie, pushing products knowing that they were going to be harmful. Yet all of a sudden, mysteriously, out of nowhere, you're supposed to trust these exact same companies to preserve your health. And anyone that doesn't believe them, anybody that maybe is a little skeptical, that maybe wants to wait a little bit or do their own research, oh, well, they deserve to be ostracized from society. They're stupid. We'll demonize them on the mainstream media outlets, or those exact same outlets that are getting paid by all the pharmaceutical companies that benefit as a result of you going and paying them. But hey, who cares about research? Nobody cares about what actually goes on. We're just a bunch of crazy conspiracy nuts. You crazy doing your own research? You're psycho. That's insane. Eat this juice. Take these opioids and die. But hey, whatever. Nothing to see here. Would you see that on Fox News? Who told you that, Donnie? But they're giving us a free two donuts. I want a diabetes disc and the juice in my arm. I want to.